everyone, welcome to this update video this morning. I hope that you have been enjoying your morning thus far. It is the start of a brand new week, and so this week could get pretty busy in the tropics. Here we're looking at the latest graphic from the National Hurricane Center, and just as I spoke about in my update video last evening in regards to seeing something else potentially try to get itself together headed to the southeastern states, we're seeing this newly highlighted area, so we could see some development take place here this week. This area was marked in the 8 p.m. update last evening at 20%, and now it is at 30%. So the chance is on the rise through the next 7 days. And then for the Gulf of Mexico, we still have that area, 60% chance of seeing something develop, and we could certainly see a tropical depression at least as we head into the upcoming days. So we're going to be taking a look at what is currently happening across the Caribbean, the forecast for today, and then we're going to delve more into what our models are expecting in regards to seeing both of these systems. So first things first, we're looking at the satellite imagery. A lot of rain still around parts of the Western Caribbean and even Central America. It's been so wet, it's been so active. Some areas have definitely been drenched. There's likely been flooding as well, and it isn't over. That is going to remain the story throughout the week. So even in some areas which may not be experiencing any flooding now, but the soil is really saturated with additional heavy rain, there's likely to be some level of inundation if that water has nowhere to go. So that is going to be a concern this week. We could have those life-threatening floods across Central America, parts of Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and even to Costa Rica as well. But the bulk of the rain is likely to be for the vicinity of the Pacific coast of Guatemala and even El Salvador. That is likely to be where the heaviest rain will be. And then, of course, we could have that system coming up into the Gulf, and we could see some development of it as we head into later this week. And as for some of the Caribbean islands, though, it's been on the drier side and the sunnier side, and with that, it's also on the hot side in the days without any rain or those densely overcast skies to help out. Because, we are approaching summer later this month, and it is already so very hot. Many of us can attest to that, especially if it's not windy and you're out, you're doing your business. It's very hot in the days, no doubt. So with the rain around, that definitely helps to cool things off. But that hasn't been the story for many Caribbean islands. However, there is a tropical wave approach, and we can see some activity associated with it, and it may help to bring along with it some more showers or thunderstorms across parts of the Lesser Antilles. It's not a significant tropical wave. We're not seeing any robust activity, but it could definitely help out with some showers across parts of the Lesser Antilles. So let's go on to the rainfall forecast for today. Here we're seeing these colorful shadings for parts of northwest Nicaragua, going to western Honduras, El Salvador, southern Guatemala. This area here, as I said, that is going to be where the heaviest rain will likely take place through this week. So it's going to be very wet with those instances of flooding. But the majority of Central America, for the most part, will experience continuous rain, including the offshore islands of San Andres and Providencia. Down to northern South America, in parts of Colombia, Venezuela, and sections of the Guyanas, especially in the north, may experience some activity today, some periods of heavy downpours, even some thunderstorms, and even Trinidad and Tobago may experience some shower activity as well. Things may be a little bit on the drier side for most of the Lesser Antilles, though, but going further north, we see a bit more color, so there could be some additional showers within the area. ABC Islands will remain on the dry side for the most part, with the passing shower being the most to expect today. Hispaniola, there could be some thunderstorms popping up. Same thing for a few spots in Jamaica, especially in the south and east. And then for sections of western Cuba. The Cayman Islands is just outside the realm of where the bulk of that rain is taking place. So there could be a few showers around, but as it pertains to significant rainfall, that is not really anticipated. Up to the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, a whole lot of rain not expected. Couple showers loitering around for parts of Florida. And then in terms of the wind forecast today, as we see more of these more vibrant shadings of purples and blues, the winds are stronger. So we could see winds going up to 25-30 knots with higher gusts in parts of the northwest Caribbean, so near the Cayman Islands, within the vicinity of the Bay Islands off Honduras, just offshore the Yucatan of Mexico. Winds are going to be kicking up also in the Gulf, and even for the ABC Islands as well, winds probably up to 20-25 knots or so, but elsewhere should be on the tranquil side with maximum winds 5-10, maybe 15 knots or so. Now we're heading back to our disturbances. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got that new area which I spoke about in my previous update. We're seeing it marked here this morning, 30% chance of development. So we could see an airflow pressure form near the Bahamas later this week in the next few days. And then it is going to be drifting to the west-northwest along that trajectory. So why is it going to be moving that way? Why isn't it moving out? Let's go ahead and take a look at what the models have to show. And we're starting out with the GFS. This is as we're going to be heading into Wednesday of this week. Now, GFS is not expecting much development from our Gulf system that may form, but it is definitely showing that surge in moisture. And as I pointed out in prior videos, we don't need a defined system for there to be dangerous impacts, especially in terms of the water, the heavy rainfall, which is usually the most significant concern when these weather systems are around. So it definitely shows that surge in moisture for the Gulf Coast. And then as we head towards the vicinity of the Bahamas, we see that area of low pressure. By the way, these green shadings you see, these spots of yellows, reds, pinks indicate the precipitation rate. So we're seeing that area of low pressure. And as we head to Thursday, the 20th of June, take a look at this. So we've got that area of high pressure offshore the states. Now, it is important to note the direction in which the wind blows within areas of high pressure in the northern hemisphere. Winds rotate clockwise. So that is essentially what is the driving force for this little low pressure area which may form. And then we're seeing that it is likely to strengthen a bit on its way to the southeastern states. So North Florida, going to the vicinity of southeastern Georgia, potentially South Carolina as well, may experience some impacts should what the GFS is expecting comes to fruition. And it's not a one-off thing, because I have been watching the models for some time and they seem to be getting a bit more and more confident on something actually forming within this area here. The Euro model, as we're going to be heading to Wednesday, we see that surge in moisture for sure headed to the west or west-northwest. And then in the Gulf, we see that area of low pressure with a lot of rain associated with it. And then the Icon model is also agreeing with this. We certainly see it expecting that low pressure area to be making its way to the west. There is that area of high pressure, so this is going to likely be the general trajectory of it. And then our Gulf system there moving up to the Gulf Coast states of the U.S. Eventually, we have that system moving into Texas with a lot of rain, and then that system offshore the Bahamas likely to make its way towards the vicinity of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. So we do see some consensus among our models in terms of where we could see our newly highlighted area and where we could see these systems go once they develop. Again, we don't have those X's. The X marks the spot. It usually shows where the areas of low pressure are expected, but they have not yet formed, but are expected to do so within the coming days. So as I said, we've got the models agreeing on this, and it definitely seems like a plausible outcome, especially for this time of year. So the main development region, that area between Africa and the Eastern Caribbean islands, is pretty much quiet right now, mostly because of the dry air. The environment is not so conducive, but it will be more favorable as we head into August through September, October, potentially November as well. So I'm here to keep you posted as per usual, and that is it for this update. And I really do hope you found it to be very informative. However, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond when I get the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.